Squat Senior here. Finally got some time to get a little work done on this Super M project going on here. Weather's settled down, kind of a fairly nice day, sun shining, the snow plowing's done, roofs are shoveled, firewood's carried in, got the shop warm. Today's project, we're going to get into taking this distributor apart. I've got a few things loosened up on it already, so it kind of shortens it up. Guys don't need to watch me taking a whole bunch of bolts out and stuff. Anyway, this thing, it's got a drive mechanism in. You'll see right here that goes in and drives the rotor area of that distributor, and that is driven through the hydraulic pump. The tanks fit in here, and there is a gear that goes on the front of here. This fastens to the front plate of the engine, goes through an idler gear, and that's what times. You time the whole distributor through the hydraulic pump. Then after you get everything timed internally, you got to start internally first if you've taken this apart. If you haven't taken it apart, you have to assume that everything is right in there. Usually is. And then what you do is you reference where the tang goes on in the front of this hydraulic pump. You can see how it drives off of that. Anyway, then you get the distributor rotor on number 1 cylinder. You line this up so it'll slide on, and you should be pretty much in time for the distributor. You'll also notice there is some different slots and stuff here that you can get in here, kind of gets things lined up for fine tuning. You turn your distributor here for the final initial timing and stuff. So anyway, we'll get this hydraulic pump out of the way and we'll get into tearing this thing apart. See what kind of issues we run into. Okay, as you see, I've got some of the coil rectifier stuff all taken off. We finished taking some of that off. You can see, I think what they did is they got a different bracket on here, kind of cobbled up coil mount. You see a piece of 3/8 pipe been kind of cut down in size. Generally a coil bolts on here and there with a bracket with a screw through. We'll get this piece out of the way. Got that loosened up. I don't know why they put it on in this way. Kind of hard to get at that bolt for doing stuff. And as you know, anything that's been together for a while, it's a lot of times not the easiest to take apart. So anyway, that didn't come apart too awful bad. If that was me, I'd have put this on this way. You know, you might have to redo some of your wires and stuff, but it gives you access to that bolt down there after everything's put together. So that'll probably be a change I do. We'll get this other wire out of the way. To start with, I like to put all these little pieces back where they come from, just for now. That way you know where things go back together. Okay, we'll get this out of the way. Next thing we'll do, we'll take the distributor off the drive mechanism. See what we got inside here. I know I have been getting oil inside there, so do have some issues with that. You can see I'm still weeping out. Okay, there we go. Bottom seemed fairly tight on that. As you can see, this drive here goes into there, and that's what turns the distributor. Everything's looking good there. Bushing is excellent. I get absolutely no play in there at all, and it really turns nice. So that piece looks salvageable. Shouldn't be an issue there at all. Get that out of the way in case we drop it on the floor. It isn't going to hurt anything. Next, we'll get into unclipping the cap. As you can see, you got a notch right there. Generally, caps have another piece right there, so when you put this on, you don't have to worry about getting it out. As long as all that lines up, that'll keep your timing in there. Get the rotor out of the way. Dust cap. And we get in here. Definitely see the points and stuff. So next thing we'll do, we'll start taking points out. We'll get that cap off. I want to take the shaft out. A little looseness on top here, so we'll address that and see what we got going on and get this thing apart. Okay, we're going to get that. That's an insulated piece there. It keeps from grounding the points out from the power in from your ignition, your battery. Yeah, I have to go get some more wrenches. Okay, handy to have. Ignition wrench set here. Different sizes come in sets. You can get in there. Other options you can use, a lot of times I'll use, I like deep sockets. A lot of times you'll have a little extension of a stud or something sticking out. Gives you access. That with a nut driver generally does everything you need to do. But yeah, a lot of guys like to use pliers and stuff, and you can get by, but I like to use the proper wrenches. Get the insulated pieces off here, and all the other washers. Okay, we should be able to get the points out. Okay, there we go. Good spring tension on them, I like that. Okay, to get this plate out, you got the clips for the cap. You take them out, and you got one other screw there. It only goes back in one way. There's 3 anchor bolts there, so you don't really have to mark it. Should be no issue. Should go back in pretty self-explanatory the way it come out of there. You know, crud cleaned out of the screw heads there. Someone's been in this before. That screw head's a little bit jimmied up, but it's not real bad. Another thing I like to do, I like to use, this one's getting a little dull. I like to use sharp screwdrivers. They bite better. And when you're sharpen up a screwdriver, one of the first things I learned in tech school is you file them. You will grind this square here, but everything else gets filed. Otherwise, you get heat treated in your blade tip and it doesn't work good. Yeah, you can see a little rust, oil. There's what governor weights inside there. That's fly weights in there to advance your timing as RPM increases. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is we've got springs in here on the fly weights. We'll get them released. They just go over a peg. Need those pliers, you can just pull on them a little bit and slide them right off. And you got 2 screws in here. Should be able to take them off, and this plate should come out of there. Okay, here's that. Make sure I got all the screws for that. Keep them captivated. And we should be able to get this out. A lot of oily, rusty stuff in there. Yeah, you can see, look at that stuff. Been getting moisture, leaking oil. There is a seal in here, so I'll definitely have to take this apart, get at that seal. Okay, here's the springs. Fly weights, advanced timing as RPM increases. Get them out of the way. definitely a mess in there. It's not looking good. Yeah, between that hydraulic pump seal leaking and the bad seal here, I definitely had some oil issues getting in there. Well, we'll work on getting this gear off of here. I'm not real sure. It looks like the pin has been peened, so I'll probably have to do a little grinding or filing to get that before I drive that out. So anyway, we'll get set up and get that done. Okay, did a little work there. I've got the pin moving. You can see out there. What I did there is I just took this file and I just gradually filed it down till, if you can see, I just some witness marks till it just started hitting the gear. Usually that takes enough off to where you can just mushroom the rest right out. There's also shims here and in here that adjust your end play. Looks pretty excessive to me, so I'll have to look in to see what an end play spec is, but I'm pretty sure that could be tightened up. Everything, once that starts flopping up in here where your points are, that all starts moving around. So then what I did initially, you can see my witness marks. I always put it on a block to support around the shaft area. You don't want to bend this. You can see where I got her started there. I went until I did there, so I'll just support into that shaft on the block and see if we can finish driving that out. Do have a pretty good set of drift punches here, different sizes. Kind of a smaller set. If I need a longer one, I'll just jump into these. But generally, this does it for a lot of the smaller stuff. Oh, looks like that pin has got a little bit of a bend to her. Bend or wear, I mean, it's quite a number of different things in there going on. Looks like I might have to press that out of there. We'll see. I'll get a rubber, just a dead blow hammer, see if it moves first. Oh yeah, not bad at all. Get another block to support things here so that shaft clears. That. Okay, I think I'm going to do a little cleaning on that shaft. She's a little tight going through that bushing. You could probably force it out, but then doing that, you're also going to scar up your bushing. And I don't feel any play in that at all. I mean, that, both sides, that's good. So just where that pinhole, I think she's a little kind of mushroomed out in there a little bit. Okay, there we go. They do have brass bushings in there, but we'll get this thing cleaned up. Got a seal in there. That'll have to be replaced. I'm pretty sure I can get them from some of my tractor supply stores. So anyway, we'll get this thing cleaned up, and that's the way you take a pump apart. Excuse me, a distributor part. And we'll see what we got, get some parts ordered, and see if we can get this thing back together in the future. Okay, that's a quick example on how to take a distributor apart. As you can see, all the miscellaneous pieces laying out here. One thing I did do is I took and put a lot of the screws back in where they come from. You can see for the points, condenser, all the clips to hold in for the plate. Even for the all this stuff here, I got the screws in. You can see for the flyweights and stuff, I put the screws in to hold this plate on. Just kind of makes things easier to remember where to go. Here's for the ignition. That's your insulating part there to keep it from grounding in the housing. So one thing I would recommend you guys do is get yourself books, indispensable. What I would suggest is the IT shop service manual. You can see it covers a whole bunch of different models and stuff here, which if you get into multiple different tractors, this is the only book you need. You don't need an individual book for your individual tractor. And as you can see, you get inside here, it's got all the breakdown for the distributor, name of all the parts, everything else and stuff. And I've always got a notepad handy. Keep writing notes down of all the what I'm working with, because you get into ordering parts, a lot of times they will need to know distributor numbers, stuff like that. So I just kind of keep that handy, just keep jotting stuff down. I do have an original parts catalog for the Super M and MD tractors, which is really helps when you get into ordering parts. Like in this distributor, they'll tell you what the parts fit, what distributor. Distributors all have numbers and stuff on. And you can see here, distributor number is stamped right there. So that's excellent reference for parts. One supplier is Steiner Tractor Parts. You can they do have an online site and stuff you can go into, give them a call or whatever, good research. Nothing else, it's really good for reference. Another one I use is Yesterday's Tractor on the internet. Have real good luck with them guys too. So anyway, strongly recommend manuals. It's pretty hard to get into doing anything here without manuals and stuff. So like I say, if one manual is all you can afford for now, I would definitely look at an IT shop manual. You can buy them at swap meets, online, tractor parts stores, dealers. A lot of places have them, so that'd be highly recommended. Anyway, we'll get this thing cleaned up, double check for wear, stuff like that, and get into getting some parts ordered and possibly put together. So again, that's the disassembly of a distributor. Thanks for watching.